to this companion video to SSP MIMS 2019.1 release notes. MIMS 2019.1 is considered a minor release. As such, the scope of this release centres on enhancements to existing graphical work design functionality and the incorporation of security and single sign-on capability for ArcGIS named user licensing. The agenda for this presentation is brief. First, we'll discuss what is new in MIMS 2019.1, and then we'll review some next steps to provide you with multiple avenues to obtain some information or get in touch to discuss taking advantage of these new exciting enhancements. There are 6 main items to highlight for MIMS 2019.1. First, security and single sign-on. And this has been a customer requested item for some time, and our work is now complete to expand named user authentication support. Next, automated workflows for remove and replace work functions in graphical work design are now ready to implement. And in support of these new work functions and graphical work design implementation overall, we have a startup package to provide design templates, and that's been published for our system implementation teams. In MIMS Field, we have expanded MIMS Sync security to make it easier for users to update their MIMS logins. Often requested version identifiers on MIMS Sync and MIMS Field application windows have been incorporated. And lastly, a tracing SDK to extend existing MIMS Mobile ArcFM network tracing capability, and that's been added to take advantage of the already existing offline tracing functionality. So of the 2 main enhancements in this minor release, let's first discuss security and single sign-on. How do we go about implementing this capability? MIMS now supports integrated Windows authentication as the identity store in ArcGIS Portal, and this is a requirement for single sign-on. Making sure to maintain support for portal tier authentication, we have expanded that to include the myriad of ArcGIS enterprise architectures and really incorporate the widest range of configurations possible, and that includes web tier authentication as well as federated or non-federated environments. So the question is, why did we really do this? First and foremost, this was a customer request to help with management of named user licensing on MIMS Field devices. So in supporting single sign-on capability, it turns named user authentication into a seamless user experience. It enhances MIMS alignment with available Esri license models, and it eases the burden of ArcGIS Portal user account management by taking advantage of existing user stores. So overall, it provides maximum flexibility to adhere to security requirements for Esri authentication. So what is a work function, and how would you make use of it? Work functions are basically automated workflows that are built around repetitive design tasks. In MIMS 2019.1, you can now implement work functions that tackle remove and replace workflows. So how would this help you with your design needs? The primary benefits of work functions are time savings through automation and applied consistency of the workflow. Using a lasso tool, you can simply select the target features on the map. Without any further interaction, the tool automatically creates work locations and design lines, it identifies the target compatible units where possible, and it provides filtering and hints to browse the compatible unit list if you need to make a change. Overall, it creates a feature display to modify the design if that is required. MIMS Portal has excellent remove and replace work function documentation, including design best practices for MIMS 2019.1 that I really highly encourage that you review. Aimed at assisting our system implementation teams, MIMS 2019.1 release includes a package of graphical work design templates. So what are they, and how do these templates work? MXD and database schema templates are available to quickly stand up a baseline design implementation. And these templates include any and all fields and configuration that design can make use of right out of the box to provide the user with as much automation and assistance as possible. So where do these templates come in handy? As noted, They contain all the supported defaults for remove and replace inbuilt work functions. They provide assistance to the system implementation team by decreasing the time needed to implement baseline design functionality and hopefully potential customization. Programmable hooks are included to support integrations with asset and work management systems, and the basic design toolset has been expanded this time around to include redline features, which are also included in these templates. And lastly, the templates provide the outline to easily look up and assign compatible units to design wireframe features if your existing feature data can be used in this way. The templates and instructions on how to use them are available on MIMS portal. The last few slides cover smaller but no less important customer request items. First, MIMS Sync settings authentication, and what do we mean by this? Authentication now occurs at the onset of sync at the settings level. Users can now immediately see when authentication with MIMS Gateway fails and access the authentication page to update their credentials. So what makes this an improvement? Previously, MIMS authentication occurred on execution of the data plugin, and this caused confusion with Esri's named user licensing, which also triggers on execution of the data plugin. If the user running MIMS Sync cannot authenticate with MIMS Gateway, no plugins trigger at all, and a lock icon is displayed to the user to prompt correction. As noted, the added benefit is visual separation of MIMS authentication as opposed to Esri's named user authentication. MIMS Sync user documentation has been updated on MIMS portal to reflect this change. As requested, MIMS field applications now display the currently deployed version number on the application user interface. So how would you obtain this change? Deployment of MIMS Mobile and MIMS Sync application updates for MIMS 2019.1 takes care of it. So why would we add this? Customers identified a need to prominently display the deployed application version number to aid in deployment management, troubleshooting, and ongoing maintenance. So for example, it helps MIMS administrators if users can quickly report the application version deployed when troubleshooting is needed. On to MIMS Tracing SDK. MIMS Mobile ArcFM network tracing capabilities already include extensibility points to allow customers to extend the functionality to suit their needs. So what does this SDK contain? MIMS portal now contains articles providing guidance, templates, and samples to quickly and easily implement additional network tracing features. What areas does the SDK cover? The SDK enhances current tracing capabilities by showing the developer how to extend trace results, providing examples of creating custom tracers, and providing guidance on extending networks beyond baseline functionality. So just to round out information on MIMS 2019.1, there were also a number of quality updates that improve consistency of user experience in MIMS configuration and some bug fixes that are described in the release notes on MIMS portal. I highly recommend you go to take a look. So on to next steps. Now that you've heard this brief overview of MIMS 2019.1, what could you do next? If you'd like to read through more detailed information on your own time frame, visit MIMS portal. There are release notes, user guides, knowledge base, troubleshooting, and video resources available there at any time. If you'd like to view the MIMS video playlist on YouTube, look for SSP MIMS or use the tiny URL noted here. Your SSP account representative is always a good source of information, helping you discuss your specific needs and how SSP can help. Any of these steps are going to take you in the right direction for planning your upgrade or migration, and as always, MIMS support team is available to answer your queries and direct your questions to our most knowledgeable staff. So lastly, thank you for taking the time to watch this overview of MIMS 2019.1.